Hi there, kids. It's just after high noon. May I be the first to say good afternoon and good Friday afternoon to you at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You probably knew that. It is Friday, October 20, 2023. By now, I hope you knew that. My name is Matt Murphy, and we host a gathering from noon until 3. We call it the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's episode 439. We like to begin the show by saying hello, good afternoon, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Hope your day's gone well so far. And continued pleasantries as we get into our First Amendment Freestyle Friday. 615-737-9986. That is a telephone number that I deliver to you early and often. I say it as quickly as possible just to keep you on your toes. It's a way to communicate with the broadcast, and I especially encourage you to do that today. 615-737-9986. That's 9986 is WWTN. See what we did there? You can either utilize that for telephone calls or for the super text line, which is up and running as per usual. I will be my normal, calm, genteel self today. Yesterday was I won't say it was an outlier or a weird show, but I just allowed my emotions to flow through me, out of my mouth, into the microphone, and over the 100,000 watts of blowtorch power that is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Plus, obviously, the streaming platforms where you might be streaming the show on your phone or whatever streaming app you use, or maybe it's Super Talk TV. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, F&M Bank chat line up and running there as well. By the way, speaking of Super Talk TV, Bell K's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible, doing a great job so far. Mac Maury will be back directly. We've got sandwiches to eat after all. Episode 439 on the television side of things is entitled what, sir?
Matt Murphy Show. Third time's the charm. Wait! No, it's not. Noon to 3 p.m. The Libertarian Lunch. Peanut butter and
mayonnaise, I hope. Is it just peanut butter and?
Well, we got options.
We do have options. So if you've not heard, this all started with Congressman Tim Burchett. We can either thank him or blame him at some future time. Where Congressman Burchett, in anticipation of another round of voting, was showing his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, saying, "Ooh, look, another lobbyist to lunch on Capitol Hill," obviously joking about it, although some people took him seriously, sadly. That said, I noted, Bell brought this up, and I said, I'm all about it. I'm not really a fan of peanut butter and jelly. When I was a kid, we did peanut butter and butter sandwiches. My grandma made them, and they were delicious. And so that led to a conversation that eventually led to a number of super texters indicating that peanut butter and mayonnaise.
I take issue with that description.
What?
They're not super texters. They're criminals.
Are you going to try it?
The mayonnaise?
Is it a game? Can we just make it a game time decision? Can we do that?
Are you asking if I'm going to eat the mayonnaise?
Yes. I mean, you eat mayo, right?
I'll try. I'll take a bite.
You take a bite.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we ask. I mean, because I've got three sandwiches coming in hot at 2:00. We have peanut butter and jelly and butter. So Erica, when she was a kid, her grandmother made peanut butter, butter, and jelly. So she just added butter to the PB&J. So we got that going on. We have peanut butter and butter going on, and then we have peanut butter and mayonnaise going on, and they're all split up into little foursomes, little quadrants, and so we'll do that. That's coming up at 2:00 during the Friday Mac Attack, which the draft today, I think we should go ahead and start previewing what the draft is going to be. I'm very excited because we have a new way of picking the order. We're not going to leave it up to randomness anymore. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in our selections, and today's draft is sandwiches.
Yeah, are we going to discuss your stupid tweet for your text from last night?
No. I was.
You were drinking.
I was poking you. I was drinking a little. So, no, a hot dog's not a sandwich, and obviously we're not doing no flatbreads, no tortillas.
It has to be leavened bread.
We're talking about bread or rolls. That's it. Right? So no burritos, no gyros or euros. None of that. And obviously a hot dog's not a sandwich anyway. So none of.
And if you think it is, you go eat your PBJ with your mayo.
Well, you're wrong. I mean, if you think it is. So we're doing that in the 2 o'clock hour. Frankly, today, I think we all need a respite from some of the politics of the day, although I'm going to catch you up on headlines right now, and you're welcome to discuss some of these headlines over the course of the afternoon. Headline number 1, Hamas has, according to sources from Fox News, Hamas has released 2 United States hostages. That is what we are told this hour. Obviously, there are plenty of hostages to be released, and it does not in any way negate the severity and the evil that they have placed upon the Israeli people and more broadly the world.
So that makes them worth $50 billion apiece?
Who knows? I don't know. I mean, Joe Biden gives his speech last night in which...
Oh, no, I'm sorry, $50 million apiece because that's $100 million in aid that he sent, right?
No, he wants $100 billion.
Oh.
He wants $105 billion. Now, he's already sent $100 million. You're probably referring. He wants $105 billion. He's already sent over $100 million. Yes, so I guess that'd be $50 million apiece for the hostages that are being released. Would it surprise you if he was doing that? It wouldn't surprise me.
No,
it wouldn't surprise me for a moment if he was trading hostages for money.
Well, he gave Iran $6 billion for hostages.
Well, that's right. We've already established that they're willing to free up this type of money, and we know exactly what these folks are doing with this type of money. But anyway, yeah, Joe Biden gives his address last night. I did not watch it live. I was doing something else. I did watch it a little later on in the evening, and I probably had the same reaction as you as I threw up in my mouth a little. Joe Biden trying to, I mean, why would you conflate the two conflicts? For the life of me, I don't understand it. And why you would include border security funding inside a funding request. I mean, obviously, we understand what he's trying to do here. By the way, the border security money that he has included and tied to Ukraine and Israel, it is not for border security. It is for processing of illegal aliens coming into the United States of America and delivering them all across the country. They have know this. When in the next several weeks, once the House of Representatives gets its crap together, more on that in a second, Joe Biden and the Democrats will be begging for money that we don't have, money that will be made up upon approval. This is not real money. This is money that is set down on paper that does not exist right now, that is created out of whole cloth, based on the good faith and credit of the United States of America. It just adds to the $34 trillion in debt that we've already rung up. So as they ask for this money and suggest to you that the world is on fire and the United States of America must put it out lest it burn down with Israel. By the way, Israel hasn't asked for $105 billion. And Israel gets billions of dollars on an annual basis. And I don't have a problem with that necessarily. I don't have a problem with supporting our allies in Israel. I have a problem with writing blank checks with our mouths that our booties can't cash. So he ties together Israel and Ukraine because he knows that the Ukraine conflict and America's participation in it is not a popular thing, because I don't understand what the benefit of the United States of America is. I hope that the Ukrainian people get the outcome that they desire. I do not want Russia to advance any further in terms of taking over properties that do not belong to them or lands that once were part of the USSR that they're trying to recoup, and Vladimir Putin's trying to get the band back together. I don't have a problem with fighting against that and offering some level of support, but it does not have to be necessarily an endless amount of cash and materials, as Joe Biden described it last night. But they're tying those two things together because he knows that the United States of America supports Israel, and the people of the United States of America support Israel. We don't support the Ukrainian conflict nearly as much as we support our allies in the Middle East who are fighting against evil on earth. That would be Hamas. So you tie Ukraine to that so you can get some additional money for Ukraine. And just in case the Republicans weren't on board already, and there are plenty of war hawks in the Republican Party, let's tie some border security funding in there too. Because Joe Biden and his minions in the White House know that the vast majority of people are too busy to dig as deeply as I'm going to do and as you're going to do as listeners of this radio station to understand that when they say border security, they don't mean border security as we get it. They don't mean that they're going to shut down the flood of illegal aliens coming across the southern border. They mean that they need money to hire people to better process those that are coming into the United States of America. You understand the difference? They're not keeping them out. They just want to be better about processing them when they get here so that you and I are unaware of the flood of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and I'm not exaggerating, millions of people that are coming into the United States illegally. And the Biden administration is just letting them. We have an open border. Right now, the Biden administration cares more about the border of Ukraine than it does about the border of the United States. And they're trying to play on the ignorance of the general population of the American people in order to spend $105 billion. That is a tenth of $1 trillion of money that we don't have. We don't have that money. We don't have it. They will make it up. So there's that going on. There was a House vote again today. Look, I said my piece yesterday. I want a happier show today. I mean, the show's bound to get happy in about 20 minutes because we got Brenda Willis in the house. And she brings the joy with her. And later on, Jay St. Clair and Fry Jay in the 1 o'clock hour, and then Mac Attack in the 2 o'clock hour, and that's all well and good, and I need it, and I think you do too. But I do have to deliver this news. There's no House Speaker. And apparently the Republicans don't see the urgency in getting one. Apparently. So Andy Ogles presented some breaking news moments ago. The 8 members of the House of Representatives that voted to vacate Kevin McCarthy are now offering themselves up to be censured or thrown from the conference if it means votes for Jordan. I'm going to read you this letter. This is from Andy Biggs, Ken Buck, Tim Burchett, Eli Crane, Matt Rosendale, Nancy Mace, Bob Good, and Matt Gaetz. These are the 8 individuals that successfully got Kevin McCarthy booted as Speaker of the House. Dear colleague, they write, the recent passage of the motion to vacate the Speaker has caused rancor, hurt feelings, and acrimony in the House Republican Conference. While we stand by our actions, it is our goal to proceed forward with our colleagues, our teammates, our fellow Republicans in a manner that embraces reconciliation. It has been suggested the conference cannot move forward until there are consequences for each of us. While we violated no rule of either the House or Republican conference, we understand some in the conference wish to punish us. The actions we took were never about us. They were to change Washington for the better. The House needs a speaker, and we have a speaker designate in Jim Jordan of Ohio. Therefore, if the holdouts who refuse to vote for Speaker designate Jordan would be willing to vote with the team and elect him the 56th House Speaker, we are prepared to accept censure, suspension, or removal from the conference to accomplish this objective. We remain proud members of the Republican Party as nominated by our respective districts. What unites us as Republicans is more important than our disagreements. We must now come together to elect Jim Jordan. We offer this sincerely and with the hope of unity with purpose. Our fidelity to Republican virtues and principles remains unwavering. Sincerely, Biggs, Buck, Burchett, Crane, Gaetz, Good, Mace, Rosendale. It's very interesting. So these are the conservative holdouts that held McCarthy's feet to the fire with regard to honoring his word as presented to them last January. Just to catch everybody up, to make sure all of you are up to speed, even those of you in Aniana. So last January, several holdouts demanded consent, about 20. I think Andy Ogles was among them. I know he was. They demanded certain concessions from the Speaker. One was the ability for one member of the body to offer a motion to vacate the chair, which they got. Number 2, They demanded that we have regular order, which they got. Number 3, they demanded that 12 separate appropriations bills are presented and passed in the House of Representatives prior to the end of the fiscal year, and they didn't get that. And because they did not get that, and because Kevin McCarthy was, we went off on vacation for 6 weeks or whatever. I mean, most of you know all of this backstory, right? And so these 8 said, look, words have to mean things, and Kevin McCarthy's got to go. And they voted along with the Democrats to vacate the chair. Well, now, as a way to get people back together, they're saying, look, if you moderate Republicans hate us that much, if you want us out of the conference that much, that's fine. Kick us out of the conference. We're willing to accept whatever punishment you give us as a result of getting us a speaker. We're willing to give that up. I actually like this move. I mean, what are the moderates holding out for? There is no other option except for Jim Jordan. Yet they held a vote today. Now, this was presented to the Congress of the United States of America and signed by the 8 members who voted to vacate as of, today. I don't know what time it was. Andy Ogles posted it about 30 minutes ago. So this would have been after the vote that failed to secure a speakership for the 3rd time. Will there be a 4th vote today? Who knows? We'll keep you up to date. It's 1222, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, just getting started, episode 439 of The Murphy Show on Super Talk.
One of the big words being thrown around in the investing world right now is this one. You may have heard it. Fiduciary. The idea that the investment advisor has to keep your interest first when they give advice. Now, it's being used in a marketing sense right now, and one of the things that I found fascinating, there was a study by the University of Southern California and Indiana University. They looked at investment advisor portfolios and they found that they were making basic academic mistakes in the management of their own portfolios. And the question that they asked was, if they can't even keep their own best interest first, how are they going to keep your best interest first? That was the question. Now, one of the things that we do at Paul Winkler Inc. is every one of our offices, 10 offices, is run by a degreed planner, number 1. But we go way beyond the call of duty when it comes to fiduciary and making sure that we're using academically sound principles in investing. Evidence-based. In other words, a lot of this is backed by Nobel Prize winning research. To learn more about our approach to investing in financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call or call 615-851-1950.
Coming up just after 12:30, Brenda Willis will join us to tell us about blood assurance. That's coming up in about 5 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer than that. Jay St. Clair in the 1 o'clock hour, Mac Attack in the 2 o'clock hour. I'm excited about today's Mac Attack because we're eating sandwiches. And most specifically, I'm excited about the peanut butter and mayo sandwich, which may be disgusting, may be great. I don't know. We'll find out together.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Speaking of disgusting, last night Joe Biden spoke to the American people and begged for money. It was essential. It was just odd. And I understand that the Warhawks loved it because the Warhawks do. I'm not against conflict when necessary, but only when absolutely necessary and in the interest of the American people. I don't think Israel needs us in terms of our military. Israel already receives financial assistance and material assistance. I mean, for example, if it were not for the United States of America, the Iron Dome would not exist. It's a great example of how the United States can assist Israel without actually putting boots on the ground. And I don't think Israel's asking for boots on the ground. But Joe Biden last night demanded or begged of the Congress of the United States for $105 billion. That is over $1/10 of $1 trillion, specifically for the purposes of continuing to battle the Russians in Ukraine and to battle Hamas and other Palestinians in the Middle East. Secondarily, he wanted some of that money for quote-unquote border security. That's his big selling point for the Republicans that are still holdouts, that they want a little cash for border security. They claim that it is actually to shore up the border when, in fact, as I said before the break, it's really for processing of illegal aliens into the United States of America. The latest news, 2 American hostages, according to Fox News, have been released from Gaza. Fox News independently confirming that 2 American nationals held captive by Hamas have been released. In response to Qatari effort, they have released 2 American citizens, a mother and her daughter, for humanitarian reasons, and to demonstrate to the, and I'm just reading from the spokesperson from the Abu Dhabi, I think it is. In response to Qatari efforts, they've released 2 American citizens, a mother and daughter, for humanitarian reasons, and to prove to the American people and to the world that the claims made by Biden and his fascist administration are false and baseless. U.S. officials are saying that 32 Americans have been killed, and they have, obviously, since Hamas launched the vicious terrorist attack on Israel October 7, which killed as many as 1,400 Israelis. Israel confirmed at least 203 Israelis are being held captive by Hamas in the Gaza Strip, at least 11 Americans unaccounted for as of Friday morning. Biden, obviously, he didn't mention a lot about the hostages during his trip, and he did not mention a lot about the hostages last night. It should be our sole focus to get our American hostages back home safely. And if this is a part of that effort, then good. That's a good thing. For those living in limbo, waiting desperately, Biden said, to learn the fate of a loved one, especially to families of the hostages, you're not alone. We're working with partners throughout the region, pursuing every avenue to bring home those who are being held captive by Hamas. Good. You need to get the hostages there. You need to get those Palestinians, and I don't believe that it's the entirety of the population. Far from it. As a matter of fact, I would suggest to you that the majority of Palestinians in Gaza support Hamas because that's why they elected Hamas in 2006. Now, they've not had elections since, but you'd be hard-pressed to tell me what's changed between then and now. But for those Palestinians who don't support this terrorist regime, get them some sort of safe passage to some part of that country and then bomb the hell out of the rest of it, get rid of the tunnels, get ready to enter the streets because Israel, the IDF, has committed to a street battle here in an effort to save civilian life. Otherwise, they just turn it into a pile of rubble and kill a lot of innocent people as a result and consider it collateral damage. They don't want to do that. 1, because it's not going to achieve their ultimate goal of peace. 2, it will turn a lot of the other countries in the region against them. 3, they don't want to kill innocent people. Sadly, Hamas hides behind innocent people, or in a lot of cases, under innocent people. I was doing a bit of research yesterday afternoon about that. The number of tunnels that exist under schools, under community centers, under hospitals, under churches, and the like. Hamas lives literally underneath innocent people so that the Israeli forces cannot get to them. We'll set that on the back burner for a moment. We'll give you an opportunity to comment on it a little bit later on in the show. And we're going to talk about a wonderful event. By the way, you didn't ask me about the symphony. I'm a little surprised.
How was the symphony, Matt?
It was good. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
Was
Trisha
it-
Yearwood.
Who?
Trisha Yearwood.
I'm not familiar with that.
The wife of Garth Brooks.
Oh, okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we call her Mrs. Brooks.
He calls her boss.
But I'm sure he does. I mean, she makes the delicious food. She got more applause when she mentioned her cookbooks than anything else. Like, thank you.
These are all the sides that Garth likes with his fried chicken from Publix.
Well, I mean, you don't get that size eating rice cakes. I'll tell you that. What? What? Garth is
I'm very busy. I got to go.
no. We
Very busy.
here on iShare we call him Girth Brooks.
I'm very busy.
Girth Brooks.
Sorry.
Trish Yearwood.
Quite busy.
Tricia was at the symphony. I'll tell you all about it in just a moment. We'll introduce you to Brenda Willis for those who do not know. Brenda is in the house to tell us about an event that's happening on Monday, and I'm very excited about it, and more broadly about blood assurance. We'll do that next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief located in Franklin, but anywhere within the sound of my voice, if you're in pain, we want to help you. And the Dr. Gill Center is here for that. I have been a patient with the Dr. Gill Center for years now. Several years I've been going to get some back relief, especially when I'm doing things like playing golf, as I'm doing on Monday for a good charitable organization like Blood Assurance. You got to make sure that that back is up to snuff, and the Dr. Gill Center helps me in that regard. I sincerely don't think that I could play golf if it were not for the Dr. Gill Center, in all sincerity, because they've helped me with my lower back and my upper back pain. So if you have pain anywhere on your body, it used to be chiropractic care was just skeletal in nature, structural from a spinal perspective. Well, now it's much, much more than that. They have state-of-the-art industry equipment like Class 5 laser systems, the red light therapy, as well as the spinal decompression, which all pinpoint inflammation in the body, reduce the pain by reducing the swelling and accelerating the healing process naturally. So if you have pain anywhere in your body, I'm going to give you a telephone number. I want you to call it. I want you to schedule an appointment today and say the words pain relief. Also, you can throw my name in there, Matt Murphy, and pain relief, and you will get a special discount when you call 615-882-4838, 882-4838. The Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief in Franklin. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and you until 3 o'clock. The Drive with Brian Wilson at that time. Friday starts at 1:05 this afternoon. Jay will tell us everything we need to know about the Trump gag order out of New York City. And we have a couple of other things to discuss with Jay St. Clair. I don't know that we have any updates on the union strike with the United Auto Workers. But, you know, obviously, Jay, an attorney extraordinaire and a great legal mind. He's also an expert in all things employment law. He'll be with us at 1:05 this afternoon. Friday Mac Attack at 2:05 this afternoon. Right now, so I don't know if you guys remember, I played hooky one day last year for a good cause, and I'm doing so again on Monday. Pamela Furr will be in on Monday between noon and 3. I'll probably call my own show at some point or another because I will be a part, and I am honored to be a part, of the Blood Assurance Celebrity Golf Tournament presented by the Gatlin Brothers. It's happening this Monday at Hermitage Golf Course. And if you've not already registered, I don't know that you have the ability to register. I mean, maybe we'll find out from the woman with all of the information. Star of Stage and Screen, the jet-lagged one, Brenda Willis, joins us in studio this afternoon.
How
Hey, Brenda.
are you, Mr. Murphy?
How are you?
I'm great.
A little jet-lagged?
A little jet lagged.
Why would you be jet-lagged?
Well, I work for a tour company, and I just spent time in 6 countries and just got home 36 hours ago.
You know, there's nothing that people love doing more on their lunch hour than hearing people who just came back from a 2-week European vacation complain about.
Oh, wait a minute. It was not a vacation. It was definitely a business trip. I saw more hotels and activities and, oh, goodness, everything. It was great. We have 120 high school seniors going on a trip next May for their senior trip, and we had to do the recon trip.
What?
So it was great.
Are you going on that trip?
I am.
With 120 high school seniors?
Yes.
Ugh.
What bet did you lose?
I mean, can you imagine? Do
Now, wait a minute.
y'all need chaperones?
Wait a minute. I have 12 kids. Why is 120
Well,
any
that's
different
true.
than 12?
That's true. She does have more kids than you can shake a stick at. And I'm sorry for Jager, who he apparently lost the bet because he's your one child that had to come along with you.
No. I homeschool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he is learning about radio broadcasting.
Oh.
So today is a field trip.
Oh, so he's going to stick around for Brian Wilson in the drive because he's not going to learn anything from.
No, he actually just looked at you and he goes, Mom, this guy's good.
Oh, whatever. Thank you, Jager.
Shows what Jager knows.
That shows how little he knows about radio broadcasting. Well, it's good to have you, Jager. Thank you for being here with us, and it's good to have you too, Brenda.
It's good to be
How
here.
are the kids?
They're doing well.
Have you ever lost one?
Fact,
Have you ever lost one?
yes. If you want me to be honest, yes.
I mean,
at
like
the library,
a la Home Alone kind of.
Not that long. I didn't leave the country. I didn't even leave the state. But sometimes I do have to admit I left the parking lot and had to go back.
Like you're driving. No, I'm just imagining.
So-and-so?
I'm just imagining you driving away, and you're like casually like, okay, let's do a head count because I'm sure you guys have
Every
that thing
time.
going on.
Yep.
And you get to 11, and you're like, okay, where's 12?
Yep. It's like so-and-so went to the bathroom.
That's fun. And there they are. Yeah, there they are in the kids section when you get back there.
Yeah. Just a couple times, but yes, it did happen.
For those who don't know you do like 100 different things. You've got something going on. And I want to talk about Blood Assurance. But are you planning now for the Irish Festival?
Yeah, actually I am. I had a meeting just a few minutes ago with the Vice Consul of Ireland from Atlanta, who's in.
Tell folks who aren't aware of what you do on an annual basis around St. Patrick's Day in that. I mean, I was so saddened that I couldn't go last year, and I'm planning in October to make sure that I'm able to be a part of the event next year.
We celebrate St. Patrick's Day. We celebrate Irish culture, almost every aspect that we can think of. And we were just having meetings about how many different aspects of Irish culture we are going to celebrate next year.
Wasn't it at Opry Mills last year?
It was at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
We debuted 5 Irish artists on the Grand Ole Opry with collaborations with Nashville stars like Ricky Skaggs, and we had
Nashville royalty. Ricky
isn't he?
Skaggs.
He's
Yes,
amazing.
absolutely.
We had Ron Block from Allison Krauss and Union Station. We had the Gatlin Brothers. We had Steve Earle. Now, we had some really cool collaborations going on.
That's pretty cool.
But guess who showed up?
Garth Brooks.
Your favorite chicken-eating man. He did. Garth and Trisha showed up.
I'm kidding, by the way. If you're listening, I'm a fat boy. We can joke with one another about our big bellies.
We
It's okay.
were so incredibly honored that he and Trisha showed up.
That's pretty cool.
And surprised us and played, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes after the show was over for the audience.
That's
it was
pretty
amazing.
cool.
It was really amazing.
That's
He
excellent.
loves Ireland, though. He sold a ton of tickets in Ireland last year. Sold out Croke Park, I think, 4 or 5
What,
times.
Garth selling tickets? No. Come on.
Yeah, and he loves to do that in Ireland.
That's pretty cool. I was kind of hoping, although I'm not suggesting that Trisha wasn't enough, but I got a chance last night to go with the wife to see Trisha Yearwood with the Nashville Symphony.
That is awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, my goodness. That's really cool.
And if you, let me tell you, if you're going tonight or tomorrow night, and I pray that they don't change the lineup up because I don't want to give you false hope, but Trisha did Ode to Billy Joe by Bobby Gentry with a full orchestra behind her, and it was tip top.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, it was really good. But anyway.
So it actually makes sense that we're talking about Ireland with regard to the Blood Assurance Golf Tournament on Monday.
Okay.
Because we have a prize.
You see how Brenda gets me back on track? See, Jager, let me explain. The host of the show was way off in left field for a moment there, and your mom, she drug me back out and got me back in the ball game. Thank you for that.
We have things to talk about.
I know.
really
We got
do.
time. We got time. It's okay. It's all good. All right. So, yes. So, Blood Assurance Golf Tournament. Let me get this out of the way. Are there any slots for teams, to your knowledge?
You get on the website.
Maybe.
Bloodassurance.org charity-golf.
Okay.
And see if there is.
Okay.
I think we probably won't refuse anybody.
Okay, but it's tight. So I just want for you golfers, if you have a Monday that you can spend an afternoon with the Gatlin brothers and some other incredible celebrities and, a lot of good people, that's a great way to do it.
We
But
have
anyway,
Matt Murphy. Matt Murphy's playing.
If you end up playing with Matt Murphy and you expect to win, then I'm going to teach you a lesson in disappointment Monday afternoon.
Well, I'm going to help with the disappointment because the big grand prize that we have, you do not have to win to get the prize.
Mm-hmm.
It is a drawing for every single person that's playing in the tournament.
Okay.
At dinner, after the tournament, there will be a drawing, and that name drawn will win a trip for 2 to Ireland to play golf for 5
What?
days. Yes.
Okay.
How does that work? If you take your wife to Ireland, you're not going to be allowed to play golf for 5 days.
Okay, nobody said anything about taking wives to Ireland,
Oh,
Belle.
wow. Erica, he said it.
Oh, look, well, I mean, I'm just letting you know. I mean, it's a golf trip, for goodness sake. So, 5-day golf trip to Ireland.
Yeah, I think we have 3 different golf courses lined up. We've got air and hotel, and it should be a
For
wonderful
what?
time.
For 2 people?
2 people.
That's incredible.
You can take anybody you want, Matt, if you win.
Well, of course I would want to take
No, he can't. His wife is going to tell him he has to take her.
Isn't that who you want to take anyway?
Don't you have something else to... I mean, it's a golf trip. There's golf involved.
Jager wants you to take him.
Okay, Jager, we're in. Okay, that's probably, at this stage, thanks to Belle, you're the only one that I could probably get away with other than my wife. So that's incredible. That's pretty cool.
So that's how,
I can't imagine how that got lined up.
well, that's, the Irish Festival, the Irish sponsors that we have.
It all works.
We're going to have some awesome gifts, too. We have some of our sponsors like Slane Irish Whiskey. We're going to have bottles of Slane Irish Whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have 5 Farms Irish Cream. Yeah, we've got some cool things going on. You know why, though? What do you know about that golf tournament? Or what do you know about that golf course?
Oh, it's the black-faced sheep,
They have
obviously.
sheep.
Yeah.
They have sheep. So we thought, how could we go with anything other than an Irish theme at
of course.
a sheep golf course?
If you're a golfer and you've not played at Hermitage, I can't imagine that you've not. And I forget if it's the General or the President. They have 2 18-hole courses. One's called, and it's Andrew Jackson themed. So obviously one's the General and one's the President. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the President side that they have black-faced sheep that roam the course, and you have to make way for them. Mm-hmm. They're the boss on the course.
And that's very much like Ireland.
Oh yeah, I mean
There's sheep all
that's
over
old
Ireland.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. Anyway, we decided to go with the sheep theme, and I'm going to tell you something funny too. So we have prizes, of course, and then if you're really, really bad, we have some little stuffed sheep for the bad players.
Ooh, I'm going to get one of those. I can go ahead and tell you.
Maybe you will.
I promise you, based on the way I played the last time I played, I'm going to get one of those. But it obviously is all for good cause. The Gatlin brothers are so good. to do this for our community. You mentioned something right before we came on air, and I want to circle back to it. There's a lot of bad that goes on in the world, and we talk about most of it. Israel, Ukraine, the nonsense politically that's going on in D.C., and you made a mention right before we came on air. You said, you know what, for your listeners that want to feel like they maybe are accomplishing some good, what a great way to do that through Blood Assurance locally. The blood stays local. Just talk a little about the organization.
Yeah, we have a local blood donation organization, meaning that we like to keep the blood in the local community where it was donated. So your neighbor has a car accident, there's one out on the street or the highway near you, that blood is going to the local hospital that's going to be treating the people in your community. And I feel really strongly about when there's crazy, weird, awful things going on in the world that you really personally can't do anything about. I mean, you can vote, you can do certain things, but you can do good in your own community. And so donating blood is something that all too often we just don't think that much about. And there's always a need. There's always things coming across my email. We need O donors. We need A donors. There was this bad accident. We need a lot of blood. We need to get people out donating. That's why we're on the radio. That's why we're doing a celebrity golf tournament. We're hoping that our celebrities will start talking about it. We've got Dan Tominski. We've got Scott Hamilton. Actually, Scott Hamilton and his foundation are partners with us now. We do a lot of blood donations with the Scott Hamilton Foundation. But yeah, we need to get people talking about it so that we'll get out and donate blood for our community.
Is my man Bob Mueller going to be there again? I think he is. I think he is.
Yeah. I think so. I saw him on the list.
I got a chance to meet him last year. I don't know. I fanboyed him.
Yeah.
Not as much as I fanboyed Vince. Vince was there last year. I don't know if he's going to be there this year. But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. The Gatlin brothers will be there.
Yeah.
All three of the brothers.
Yes. They are amazing human beings. Funny as all get out. They are just incredible.
and let me tell you, I mean, and for the last event that we had, you say I'm not a celebrity. I'm just a guy that's like just slack-jawed in amazement that I'm standing in proximity of the Gatlin brothers. But they are the nicest people. They will introduce themselves to every single person out there, whether you're golfing or not golfing. If you're just coming out to support, they will say hello to you, and it's like you're talking to family.
Yeah. You know what? They are very give-back people, very generous people. I was talking to Rudy the other day. He's kind of my main point person for this. And he was talking about a golf tournament that he was in last year that raised such and such amount of money for such and such a charity. I mean, this is a lifestyle for them. And we really appreciate them getting on board with
T. Graham Brown's going to be there?
Yes, he is.
Man, oh, man. There's some... And I don't even know who Runaway June is, but heck.
Oh, look them up.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Like John Wayne's granddaughter.
What?
Look it up.
Well, I will later. I don't want to do that now, but that's pretty cool. So how can people find out more? Let's start with Blood Assurance. How can they find out more about the Blood Assurance organization and how to contribute, either volunteering or obviously giving blood?
Well, obviously, it's the website. I mean, bloodassurance.org is the best way to find out information. We have storefronts where you can donate in the neighborhoods. We have one in Bellevue. We have one on West End. We have one in Hermitage. We have one in Clarksville. And then we have mobile drives all over the place. Let me explain a little bit about why we do the golf tournaments. So one of our best sources for blood donations is schools. And when COVID happened, all the schools shut down. We lost 15,000 units of blood a year.
Oh, wow.
From schools shutting down.
Yeah.
So we do the celebrity golf tournaments so that we can raise a little money, and then we give scholarships to the schools, maybe a couple $1,000s or something, so they can buy computers or sports equipment or whatever they need for their school. And we can give them a little something so that when their students and their faculty and their staff donate, we have a nice.
It's a nice partnership.
Yep.
It creates a nice. Will there be a donation opportunity at the golf tournament or no?
No, well, there's not going to be, if you're playing golf.
Because the last thing you want to do is give a pint of blood and then have a pint or two and then go out on the golf course and collapse on the guy. No, I get it.
No.
I get it.
No,
Yeah.
but we are going to encourage everybody to go out and donate. And and we're going to be having little opportunities for our celebrities, a.k.a. you, to do little PSA announcements.
I'm happy to. I'll do anything you want me to.
Cool.
Except play good golf. I mean, that's the one thing I can't promise. So once again, I cannot reiterate this enough. If you're on my team, I will make you laugh. I promise I'm not a jerk like I am on the radio when I'm on the golf course. I am as fun as the day is long, and do not expect me to make putts because it's not going to happen.
And I have to say thank you to Pamela Furr. She's going to take your place, but she's the one who introduced us.
Yep.
She is on the advisory board for Blood Assurance, and she's the one who made the whole connection with you and the radio station.
Well, and while we're thanking people, I also want to thank my boss, because Dan Mandis allows me a day off to come out and give back to a wonderful charitable organization like Blood Assurance. And, it's something that, he could easily go, dude, whatever. But he gives me grace to do this, and I thank him. And I thank all of you for indulging me. And, you get a day with Pamela Furr from noon until 3. I mean,
she's awesome.
What could be better than that?
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that so much.
All right, so bloodassurance.org. For more information. And really, if you go there, if you type bloodassurance.org/charity-golf, you can get to the website, you can get to the page, and you can find out if there are any teams available. And if there's availability, they will take you. Or just, frankly, stop by and say hello.
That, or if you
give a donation,
can't put a team in,
give a donation.
Put a donation in. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that, because getting back into our schools and being able to give scholarships to our schools is the main purpose of this golf tournament.
It's my understanding that for every $100 you give to Blood Assurance in a charitable donation, 50 cents goes to the Matt Murphy Golf Fund. To help me play golf better so that I don't embarrass myself. This is a horrible embarrassment.
I'm going to get in trouble for what you just said, because that is not true.
Anything else? Anything else we need to know?
My media supervisor is going to give me a call as I'm driving out.
These are the jokes. Supervisor, calm down. So if you're a part of the group, if you're a golfer, you can win a trip to Ireland. There's many, many other prizes to go. You can see some black sheep, some black-faced sheep, I should say, and Brenda will be out there. So, what more could you ask for?
I will. We will hang out with some cool celebrities. We will play some golf. We'll do some PSA announcements, and hopefully we'll get everybody to start donating blood.
I will donate blood next week.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
That's a commitment.
Perfect.
I'll do it for you next week. And for anybody that comes out, we'll maybe get a group together. We'll take a van over to a Blood Assurance. I don't know what we'll do. But
there's one really close right on West End.
There you go. Brenda, thank you.
Thank you.
1254 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy. October is National Healthy Lung Month, and it's time to increase some awareness about your lungs, regardless of whether or not you're having breathing difficulty or if you've been diagnosed with a heart or a lung issue. If you don't know what you don't know, then you might find out when it is too late to do something about it. Does that make sense to you? You know, oftentimes it is the case that once symptoms become, once you become aware of symptoms over an issue, things have been going on inside of your body for a while. This is where Kraft Body Scan comes in. October being National Healthy Lung Month, your heart and lungs, two of the obviously most important organs in your body. So do what I have done and make an appointment with Kraft Body Scan. Lung cancer is a top cancer killer among men and women globally. It is imperative that you come in and get this CT scan done. It is non-invasive. Only takes 5 or 8 minutes or so. I've done it. I absolutely loved it. I did the full body scan, as a matter of fact. And right now, for $149, you and your significant other, a couple's heart and lung scan at Kraft Body Scan, $149. Schedule that appointment today. Give yourself peace of mind by going to Kraft Body Scan. Kraft, spell it with a C, bodyscan.com for more information. KraftBodyscan.com or 615-436-1000. 436-1000 for Kraft Body Scan. Hello, it is the Matt Murphy Radio Show getting underway for another hour. It's 1:07. Good afternoon. Welcome in. First Amendment Freestyle Friday ongoing. Trying to be a bit more positive today. Yesterday was a bad day for me, I admit. And I'm doing my best. Well, it's easy to do when you have guests like Brenda Willis of Blood Assurance. She was with us for the latter portion of last hour, the lunchtime hour, libertarian lunch we call it, talking about the golf tournament that's going on Monday for a wonderful cause. Blood Assurance is a great local blood organization, and I encourage you to go to bloodassurance.org for more information in that regard. That said, we've got Friday Mac Attack coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. Excited about that. It is the PB&J edition of Friday Mac Attack. More on that in the 2 o'clock hour. And then there's this young man. Get your questions in, because I have it on good authority. Once we cover all of the topics that I have on my list, if we have no legal questions, Jay and I will talk about NASCAR racing, more specifically, how Kyle Larson will be winning the championship this year in Phoenix in just a few weeks. But we won't do that. If you have any legal questions, get them in. 615-737-9986. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. It's Friday.
Good morning, Americans. It's Friday.
With my best friend and life consultant, a Tennessee man through and through, the finest legal mind that I know. His name is Jay St. Clair, and he joins us on the Murphy Show hotline this afternoon. Hello, Jay. How are you?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be your dog, Mrs. Beasley.
Boy, oh boy. She's got to go. She's going crazy. Does Olivia go crazy when it gets cooler outside?
Yeah, well, she's high energy. Can I ask you a question, man?
Sure, Jay.
Can you hear me okay?
I can. You sound a little thin or tinny, but you're good.
Yep.
You're all right.
Well, I've just been trying different things, and I am doing something right now that I never thought I would do in my life. Never.
What's that?
But here we are. I am wearing AirPods. You know, those little things that stick out of your ear that make you look like my favorite Martian.
You're wearing.
You probably don't.
Yeah. Oh, I have them. I use them for when I cut the grass. I listen to music on them. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know.
I bet Bell has no idea what my favorite Martian is.
Oh, no. But as a matter of fact, as soon as you said it, he left the room. So he's not even listening right now. My favorite Martian, the only reason I know my favorite Martian is because it was for a hot minute. I don't think it was TBS. Remember when TBS would play Andy Griffith, they'd play the Beverly Hillbillies. You'd get a lot of Gilligan's Island, and every once in a while I would catch My Favorite Martian on rerun.
Yeah. It came on. I remember the original run. It came on Sunday nights, and I think it was back to back. My Favorite Martian and Lost in Space.
Oh yeah,
that was another good one.
Oh, and just to put a little connective tissue on this, a ribbon on this the lead actor, and I have no idea what his name is, but I just saw this a few days ago. He just passed away.
In My Favorite Martian?
No, Lost in Space. Like, the dad. I think I'm right in this. And I'm certain a super texter will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw that a few days ago because I was surprised. I would have thought that a show that long ago, he would have passed away many, many years ago, but apparently just recently. So,
he lived. He lived till a ripe old age.
No question.
That's back when TV was good, man.
Mm-hmm. Your favorite black and white show was Andy Griffith. I mean, that's your favorite show ever, right?
Well, my favorite show ever.
Yeah.
Well, it's the best television show ever, best scripted television show ever made. No question about it.
If I forced you to pick a second favorite black and white show done in black and white. Now, it could have gone to color at some point. That's fine. I'll give you that. But started in black and white, where would you go?
Probably the Beverly Hillbillies. But I'll tell you another one started black and white is I Dream of Jeannie. Oh, Gilligan's Island started black and white. I mean, and all those were, I was 7, 8 years old. I remember the original run of those.
Why? Excuse me for a second, Jay. Bell got back. Why are you shaking your head? You left, so we started talking about old black and white television shows.
Because I think he's 100% right when it comes to Andy Griffith. That is a solid, well-done show that still to this day holds up. But I Dream of Jeannie and the Beverly Hillbillies were garbage. They were kids' shows. And Gilligan's Island especially, that was for kids. That was meant to be kids. It's meant
Gilligan's
to be
Island was ridiculous.
Hey, Bill, Matt, I was a 12-year-old.
Yes, right. And now you're not.
The plot was meaningless. What made I Dream of Jeannie so great?
He's right.
Barbara Eaton.
He's right.
And what made Gilligan's Island so great was Mary Ann.
He's also right.
Not Ginger.
Yeah, I agree with you on Mary Ann versus Ginger.
And by the way, Jay, don't let this dude fool you. Bell, on 2 separate occasions in the last 2 weeks, has texted me at like 10 o'clock at night referring to a Beverly Hillbillies episode.
And I explained that away. And what did I tell you?
You said, I hate Beverly Hillbillies. That's why I'm watching it.
No, it comes on. It comes on after the Andy Griffith show. And if I'm not paying attention, I forget to change the channel.
But what did you tell me that who was on Beverly Hillbillies?
David Prowse, who played Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well, how about that? And we had a robust conversation about Roy Clark, too, Jay, while we're traipsing down memory lane.
No, I remember that. In fact, I was going to tell you, you know what my favorite Roy Clark song is?
What's that?
Thank God and Greyhound She's Gone.
That's a real country title.
Yeah, Thank God and Greyhound She's Gone.
It's pretty funny.
You can look it up.
And by the way, 2630 on the super text line, and this is in reference to you besmirching the good name of My Dream of Jeannie Bell, said Bell K may have just talked himself out of heaven.
I don't think that just happened.
I don't either.
It's probably been the case for a while.
Jay, I guess we need to talk a little bit about the law, and you can get legal questions in, and I'm not kidding. I'm threatening all of you. Ask legal questions on the super text line at 615-737-9986. And if you don't, once we're done with my topic selections, we'll talk about NASCAR and how Kyle Larson's going to win. I'm rooting for – I know you like Kyle a lot, and you know I think of him a lot as the best wheel man in NASCAR, Jay. But anybody but Denny is where I'm at this stage of the proceeding.
Gano's not in it, so you got to have a villain, and I totally get that. He's a heck of a race car driver. It's going to be fun to watch. I just hope Willie B makes it to the final, and so Hendricks got half of the field, two of the 4 cars. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think it's setting up. Really, in all sincerity, he is a villain for me, the number 11.
Yep.
But I think for me, if I had to put money, it's between the 5 and the 11, Larson and Denny Hamlin. After years of trying, he's got an opportunity to win a championship. But anyway, more on that if we don't get any legal questions. Let's start with Georgia because Sidney Powell, who was a lead voice in the Stop the Steal campaign in the aftermath of the November 2020 election cycle, has now pleaded guilty to a number of charges. Tell me your assessment on the guilty plea. What happened?
No jail time, minimal fines, no more legal fees. It is a sad but absolutely true fact, Matt, that a lot of people plead guilty to crimes they did not commit, solely to avoid prison time or legal fees. Just because you're innocent doesn't mean you're going to be found innocent. And so that's my main takeaway. Well, and here's the other main takeaway. She did not plead guilty to the real guts of that case, which is this conspiracy, to interfere with the election. They let that go. And that's the main thing, really the only thing they got against Trump. So that's, I think that she was looking out for her own interests, which she ought to. It's a really good resolution for her. I don't know what they'll do with her law license. If I were in that spot, that's one of the things I would consider. I didn't realize, though, she's 68 years old, so she may not be that interested in practicing law much anymore anyway. But it doesn't say anything to me about Trump's guilt or innocence. I think there were 19 people charged in this case. Well, there's 19 different cases, man. Each one is different, and each one has its own facts. And to me, I just see somebody who was offered a really good deal and took it to get certainty. In my world, the civil world, where I'm practiced, I have clients settle cases all the time when they didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I told a client just yesterday, I was meeting with him, that the cheapest way to win this case, I say it that way on purpose, the cheapest way to win this case is to settle it. And that's sad, and it's an unfortunate part of our legal system, but it's true.
You and I have talked about this over the years, and I think we've discussed it since I've been in Nashville the last couple of years. A loser pays system, which we'll never get because there are too many lawyers making the rules.
Right.
But a loser pays system would go a long way in solving some of that you just mentioned. Would you not agree?
You said it just right, man. I mean, it'd do away with at least 50% of these trash lawsuits. I mean, in my little world, employment law, nuisance value nowadays is $25,000. I've had lawyers tell me that, well, I don't settle cases for less than $25,000 because I don't take them if they're not worth $25,000. Well, what about this case did you think was good? Because I knew it was going to cost more than $25,000 to win it. And your client, instead of paying you $75,000 or $100,000 to win it, will pay me $25,000 to go away. I hear it every week, man, every week.
And I'm not naming names, but everybody sees the commercials. There's so many of them. They don't spend that amount of money on advertising for no reason. And these lawyers, they're known as ambulance chasers. They take these cases on contingency, but that's what they do, right? They evaluate the case, and they determine, well, if I charge this person no money up front, I can convince this big-time company to cut me a check for $50, and I hand my client half of it, and I keep half of it.
That's it.
Boy, oh boy.
That's the way it works.
Loser pay system would go a long way in solving a lot of that. All right, Jay St. Clair, we got some questions on hold. We'll get to those in just a moment. Jay is with us for a couple of additional segments and a lot of questions coming in on the super text line. Plus, I will ask him about the Trump gag order in New York City, whether it is constitutional or not. Seems extracurricular to the Constitution to me. We'll get our analysis from our legal expert, Jay St. Clair, in a moment on Super Talk. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Let's get you out to Savory Spice and find out the spices that you're missing out on. Man, oh man, I'm excited because I was told recently on good authority that taco soup was coming to the Murphy household, and I love taco soup. Plus, it's pretty good for me in terms of my diet plans, right? There's a little corn in there, and that's about it. I mean, because we're using ground turkey in the taco soup, which was a suggestion made by Holly at Savory Spice. And every bit of the spices and everything you need besides the ground beef or the ground turkey is right there at Savory Spice, prepackaged for you. They have these frontier soups, which are just incredible. They got the taco soup. I've told you about the Sunday afternoon pot roast that you can make in the crock pot, which is just dynamite. Friends, it is good eating, and it starts at Savory Spice. You up your food game by upping your spice game. You up your spice game at Savory Spice. 2 locations to serve you. One's in L&L Market. You go by L&L and say hello to the crew at Savory Spice. They've got everything they've got in Franklin right over there in their satellite operation on Charlotte Pike. The big shop is in Franklin, just off the square. You'll smell it before you see it. When you see it, you'll buy it at Savory Spice. Go by and see them. Tell Holly, David, and the rest of the crew Matt Murphy said hello. It's Savory Spice. $124 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to a few of your questions for our legal expert, Jay St. Clair, who's here with us. I believe Congressman Andy Ogles is calling us at about 1:45, 1:50 this afternoon. There's some breaking news out of Washington with regard to the Speaker of the House race that is not necessarily good news. At least one media outlet, and I watch so you don't have to, #NeverCNN, is reporting that the GOP has dropped Jim Jordan as their primary candidate for Speaker of the House. So we seem to be reverting back to the beginning, and we're starting all over again. More on that coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Jay, you'll be pleased to know that this audience is, well, they're some of the smartest people on planet Earth and the funniest, and there are a lot of Kraken jokes going on the super text line. A lot of folks want to know if Sidney Powell is no longer allowed to practice law in Georgia. Can she still release the Kraken? Should we be waiting on that? So I greatly appreciate that sense of humor.
That's funny.
Before we get to calls, I do want to ask you to give your thoughts on what's going on in New York City. So the judge issues this gag order, and I mean, obviously all of this is uncharted territory. This is new for everyone. You have a man who's running for president of the United States of America who is under indictment, who is attempting to reflect on those things and kind of defend himself from a public perspective, and is now being told there's certain things that he can't say and can say. What? Give me the view from 50,000 feet, Jay.
All right, so I've got the order right here in front of me, man, but let's start at 50,000 feet. First Amendment, Constitution. Congress is federal government. Federal government shall make no law or take no action to abridge the freedom of speech. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. That's what's in the Constitution now.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how many laws Congress has passed that restrict speech?
I bet there's a bunch of them.
Hundreds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I talk about that. I teach a law school class and I talk about it. So no does not mean no. And that's one of many reasons that people hate lawyers.
True.
No does not mean no. So the reasonable restrictions are permissible in constitutional speech. I've got the order right here in my hands, man. And frankly, I think this is pretty cleverly done. And I think it is constitutional. And I think if he appeals it, it's going to stand up. There's only 4 things that Mr. Trump can't say, or a category of things, or instruct somebody to say. He can't target, this is the word that's used in the order, can't target the special counsel, Jack Smith, I think's his name, or his staff. He can't say anything bad about them. He can't say anything, actually it's just 3, because trying to make it even-handed, it applies to both sides. And so nobody else can say anything bad about Trump's lawyers. Don't say anything about the lawyers in the case. Don't target the court staff or support personnel. And don't target any witness or the substance of their testimony. That's really very narrow, Matt. And the one thing is, I read this order, this does not prohibit him from talking bad about the judge. Very smart on her part. It says the court staff, not the judge, or this court. A lot of times judges refer to themselves as the court. Doesn't say the court or its staff. No. So he can say anything about the judge he wants to. And by the way, that's very stupid to do. To call the judge names, who's going to decide your case? You know my rule about talking bad about judges on the radio. I don't do it.
Do you think that the calculus, and maybe he's just shooting off, I mean, Trump has been prone to do that, but right. I feel like the calculus is he feels like he's going to lose this phase of the case anyway, that it is already baked in that he's probably going to lose and he has to win on appeal, which is why he feels comfortable shooting off about the judge, which can't bode well for him once he's in the court. You know, I mean, it
yeah. Although, there was a judge here, Judge Probst, great judge, and he tried so much to be fair. If somebody really got on his nerves, and I saw it happen in the case I had, he would bend over backwards to make sure he didn't let that interfere with his rulings. And, I don't know about whether that's what's going on here or not, but I wouldn't do it. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. Trump, he's carnival barker, always has been.
So,
and I guess the other part of the equation, Matt, is if he doesn't win the election, none of this matters.
Right. Well,
And
that's true.
I think he's prioritizing the election over these cases.
So you think this passes muster from a First
I
Amendment
do.
standpoint?
No, absolutely, I do. Yep, because it's been long held that leading up to, particularly to criminal cases, that it's reasonable for the court to. The whole point is to have a fair trial,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to not poison the jury well. And a lot of times, I tell you, who was a master at that was there was a plaintiff's lawyer, Jerry Beasley. Jerry Beasley.
I remember Jerry Beasley in Alabama.
A master. Yeah, he was a master of communicating with the potential jurors before the case trial. And Richard Scrushy, remember the Richard Scrushy trial down here? But his lawyers would come out every evening during the trial, man, and have a press conference on the front steps of the federal courthouse. And the jury was not sequestered. I mean, they were talking to the jury in the middle of the case. And no, it is well recognized that courts can impose, they call them gag orders, right? That's technically not the term, but let's call it that. Everybody calls it that. To make sure there is a fair trial for everybody. That's one of the areas where the federal government can restrict speech. And here it's very narrowly tailored. I mean, she goes, to be clear, man, she says this, and now I want to be clear. He can criticize the government generally, including Joe Biden and his administration and the Department of Justice. He can say anything he wants to about the Department of Justice. He can claim that he's innocent. He can claim the prosecution is politically motivated. And he can say anything he wants to about any of his political opponents' campaign platforms, including Pence. Right? One of the statements that the special counsel didn't like is that he's kind of picking on Pence, and that Pence was going to come after him in the trial. And she says, "Well, you are free to say anything you want to about Mr. Pence's political campaign." So it's very narrow. I mean, let's read it again. That you can't talk about a witness or the substance of their testimony. Well, that's established law. That's nothing new. I could read you the Code of Professional Responsibility, the ethical code that prohibits lawyers from doing that, coming up to a trial. So that one there's nothing unusual about that. Don't say anything. Don't target the court staff or supporting personnel. That's a very slight restriction. I don't know why he would be talking about them anyway.
Well, would the judge be referring to themselves by saying the court?
I don't know. I think if the judge intended this to apply to her, she would have made that very clear.
Okay.
I don't think she's saying that he can't call her names.
So real quick, because I've got a short time out I need to take, but so
Yep.
if Trump comes out today and says this case is trash against me,
Right.
do you think that is in violation?
Nope, absolutely not.
So he has to be more specific and real specific, and really, the way you're saying it, target individuals.
Jack Smith and his lawyers are low-down, egg-sucking yard dogs.
Right.
And I bet they got their law license at Walmart.
Right.
That violates the order.
But more broad conversation about it does not. All right. Hold your thought there, Jay St. Clair. We've got to take a short time out. And this breaking news. According to multiple sources, Jim Jordan is no longer the GOP Speaker nominee. He lost a third round of votes today and has now lost a secret ballot amongst House Republicans. The party says that they will begin selecting a new candidate Monday. We'll have a shortened segment with Jay coming back after the break, and we've got Andy Ogles coming on to reflect on this with the news breaking on this matter coming up at 1:48 or so this afternoon. But Jay's coming back to answer some of your questions right after this on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, folks, Matt Murphy here for United Structural Systems. They do foundation repair, waterproofing, concrete leveling, and they do it the right way. United Structural Systems is a foundation repair and waterproofing company serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama since 1994. Friends, that's going on 30 years. You don't do anything for that long if you don't do it the right way because they'll shut you down. Well, they do it the right way. And over 25,000 satisfied residential customers are testimony to the job that they've been doing over those 29 years. I understand you don't want to call them. You don't want to call them because you feel like, oh, my goodness, there's something going on with my foundation. There's something going on with waterproofing in my home. I smell, that musty smell in my basement, or I see the cracks in the sheetrock. Perhaps I see doors or windows sticking, walls bowing. If you see these things, those problems are not going to go away on their own. You need to do something about it. Friends, call the best. Call USS, United Structural Systems. Homeowners simply trust USS, and they guarantee their best. Go to USSTN.com, USSTN.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to USS. The phone number, 615-488-7855, 488-7855. Super Talk 99.7 WT and some breaking news. We'll have Congressman Andy Ogles fill us in on everything we need to know. In about 8 minutes or so, Andy will be along to tell us the activity going on in Washington, D.C. That breaking news, at least as we understand it, is that Jim Jordan in a secret ballot was removed as the speaker designate by the Republicans. And that means we reset on all of these things coming up Monday, one would presume. We'll find out from Andy in a couple of minutes. Jay St. Clair is with us here to answer some of your questions. And Michael is in with a question for Jay St. Clair. Michael, you're on with Jay St. Clair. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, Jay. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mike.
Hello, everybody. I got a real quick question. Well, supposedly quick. Okay, to qualify for disability, are you into that field at all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I know someone that makes too much Social Security to have their other person qualify for SSI or anything. That's what they were told. Anyway, and the other person doesn't have enough units paid in, or whatever you call it, to
Right.
qualify for disability. Now,
Right.
why are a lot of people getting SSI or whatever disability that have never paid in, have no units in? How does that work? I mean, what's the deal on that?
I believe that you have to have worked a minimum amount to be eligible for SSI. You not only have to meet the test for disability, but you also have to have enough credits. I can't remember what the exact number of that credits are, but no, you have to have been paying into the system some amount.
Okay. Well, they did have a little job. I don't know all the details. It's a friend of mine's wife, and I was just calling in since I listen to y'all all the time. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Michael.
In other words, thank you.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much. I'm glad you did call in. Thanks a lot for the call. You're right there hitting in Jay's wheelhouse a little bit.
Hey, Matt, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why is the flagship talk radio station in Tennessee letting an Alabama fan read ads on the day before one of the most holy days in this country? And yes, I'm talking about Pamela Furr. I mean, for just one day, it is the eve of the holy day, man.
So you're suggesting that for this week, and particularly for this day, the day before,
just one day.
Just one day, that you don't have to hear from these bammers.
That's exactly right.
Well, I don't know, Jay. That's a great question. That's a great question. That's gonna take some careful consideration. Because I agree with you. In the state of Tennessee, you should not have to hear from those Crimson folk for a minimum of one day. And, sadly, I didn't even think about this, Jay. I'm out Monday. I have this charity golf event that I will be a part of at the Hermitage Golf Course. And I don't know how good of an idea it is to have Pamela Furr, the redheaded stranger, guest hosting for me the Monday after the Saturday of the big game. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Might be tough.
Well, it could be some good karma. It could be some bad karma.
Well,
You saw what Peyton Manning had to say about that. He said, golly, I can't remember the last time Alabama won that game. It seems so long ago. He is funny.
That's funny. That's pretty good.
Funny.
Jay, I have a crayon and some butcher paper. Can I sue?
Well, you need $400.
Yep. Need a little money.
$400 to file. Well, you could file for in form of pauperage. But now butcher papers, well, now that they got this electronic, well, you can write it on the butcher paper, but then you got to take a picture of it and file it electronically.
All right, so let me run through a few of these quickly before we have to say goodbye, Jay. Politicians are getting in on your time. 4,500 on the super text line says, could you ask Jay if you, and I love this, here we go, if you can sue a landlord that is basically a slumlord. Everything on my end, on the renter's side, is up to date and current.
Yep.
So I guess the argument is that the landlord is not fulfilling their end of the of the lease.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, and he said, can you sue him? And of course, the answer to that is always yes. Referred to the prior texter.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is a piece of butcher paper and a crayon to sue somebody. So yeah, you can sue them. You really ask me, can you win? I need to see the lease, but even by law, rental property has to be kept habitable and meet certain standards. And if they do not meet those standards, you have a winning case, sir.
All right, this question. Is it a law in the state of Tennessee or in the United States of America that you must have identification on your person at all times, no matter where you're at?
Absolutely not. In fact, that case was just decided, I think, here in Alabama, where a guy, he told the cops their name, but he wouldn't give them his ID, his driver's license. They arrested him, and that was ruled unconstitutional.
Yeah, and I actually talked about that case. It was really a very interesting set of circumstances. He was a mechanic, if I'm not mistaken, and he was working on a car.
Yes, parked in a church parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the police, I mean, They have to have a compelling and specific reason why they believe that you have just or are in the midst of a commission of a crime in order to require you to identify yourself. I think that's the way it was decided.
But no, you did. This is not Nazi Germany in 1943, where they could say, "Let me see your papers." That's Hogan's Heroes, Bill. You wouldn't know about that show either.
Oh, hush.
There wasn't a real pretty girl in that one, so that doesn't make
The secretary.
I don't know what whoever that impersonation you were doing, they must have been from Southern Germany. Hey, listen, we've got
there's no law that says you have to carry ID.
Well, Jay, there's plenty other questions, but I've got to scoot. You know how much I love these conversations on Fridays. We'll do it again very soon. Take care, my friend.
Go Big Orange.
All right, there you go. There's Jay St. Clair. He gave you a go Big Orange before the Tennessee Alabama game. All right, we're going to catch up with Andy Ogles. Andy, my apologies. We've got to pay the bills for just a minute or two. He understands that. Congressman Ogles will be on with us to tell us what the heck's going on in D.C. We're hearing a lot of rumors and a lot of reporting about what's happening in secret ballots in closed-door meetings. Andy Ogles will give us the lowdown next on Super Talk. The Tennessee Men's Clinic wants to get an appointment going. They want to see you, especially if you feel sluggish, run down, if you don't have the energy that you once had. Friends, it's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. I went through my paces at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. I gave them a little blood, and they gave me some results. I saw my numbers. Give yourself peace of mind. You'll know if it's your T level when they're done with at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to go in and check some of those numbers out. Gentlemen, why are you living with low energy? Why are you living a life not of your choosing? Why not check those numbers out? If I told you there was an easy solution to some of your issues with energy, motivation, or drive, wouldn't you want to do something about that? Of course you would. Go ahead and make the call that so many others have made. 2 locations to serve you. One's in Midtown Nashville. The other in Cool Springs. They opened that office in the spring, and it has been going gangbusters since. Go see these guys. They are the best in the business when it comes to getting you back to energy, motivation, drive. If you feel run down or grumpy, don't do it. Go to Tennessee Men's Clinic, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or 615-208-9090. 208-9090 for Tennessee Men's Clinic. Super Talk 99.7 WTN 153. We immediately on the Matt Murphy Show go to the Murphy Show hotline where Congressman Andy Ogles awaits. He of the 5th Congressional District to give us the latest lowdown on what's happening in Washington, D.C. Congressman, I don't want to get in front of your news, so I'll just give you the floor and tell us what is happening today. We're hearing a lot of stories about backroom deals and closed-door meetings. Tell us what you know.
Well, so Jim Jordan is out as a candidate for Speaker, and, you know, this is swampy as it gets. I mean, imagine, so we have a floor vote, there in the chamber. He only got a few more no votes. I sent you those numbers. Mm-hmm. And so his support was holding. They called a recess. And so in the basement of the Capitol, we're locked into a room. Our phones have to be left outside in a secret ballot, so nobody's on record. The swamp decided to remove him as a candidate for Speaker. You literally have the singular most popular member of Congress was just knifed in the back by leadership in this town. This is a travesty. I mean, he's truly the grassroots candidate. In the nation, he's the second most Republican of all. And this is why this town is broken. You have a good person, the right person at the right moment, and they don't want him because he'll cut spending.
So I'm confused, Andy. He did not get, I think, the no votes increased to 25 this last time around, but that still means that some, I can't do the exact math, but like 190 Republicans voted in favor of him on the floor earlier today. So how was it that once we got to a secret ballot, a non-public vote, that so many voted to remove him as a candidate for Speaker? What happened there?
So the way it works in the Republican rules is that, let's say there's 3 candidates running for Speaker in conference. You hold a vote, and if no one gets 50% plus 1, the lesser vote-getting candidate drops off. So it goes from 3 candidates to 2. The 2 candidates go head-to-head. Whichever one of those gets 50% plus 1, they become the Speaker designee, which means they're the candidate, the chosen candidate for the House floor. Now, traditionally, you're supposed to vote for that person, but obviously, when you go back to January, some of us didn't because we held out for the rules package. But what happened was they held that secret ballot to essentially remove him as the chosen candidate for the Republican caucus, which took him off the board. And he graciously stepped aside and said, look, you've spoken. I've worked hard. I would have enjoyed being Speaker. It's hard work. I've gotten to know some of you better. But the conference has spoken, and he very humbly and graciously stepped aside. And so that's the process behind the scenes. And so, like you said, on the first, we're 15, 16 days in. We've only voted 3 times. The first time he had 20 no votes. Then it went to 22 no votes on the second round, and then only went to 25 the third round. And so there wasn't this mass exodus of support on the House floor. But the difference is that vote on the House floor is before the American people, and people will be held accountable back home.
Right.
When you're in the basement of the Capitol behind closed doors in a secret ballot, people can then knife him in the back, and no one's the wiser.
You are well on record. You've said it on our show. You've said it on a variety of shows on the radio station, and you've told your district, the 5th Congressional District in the state of Tennessee, you're ready to stay. You're ready to stay as long as it takes. You're ready to be there tonight, overnight, weekend, whatever. I don't expect that will happen. Help us understand what happens next, Andy. I mean, I understand you probably go home for the weekend and be back Monday. What happens now?
So we're in the room. Again, this is behind the closed doors. It's supposed to be a secret, but here's what happened. The Speaker pro tem goes up and says, look, we're going to recess, and we're going to come back Monday night, and we're going to start the candidate forums. Virtually the entire room yelled no. And he said, nope, we're going to go home. We need to take a break. Slow is fast was the phrase, which is just nonsense. And then the question was called. Let's put it to a vote as to whether or not we stay or go. And virtually the entire room called the question, and we were overruled. And because of Robert's Rules of Order, the House rules, essentially, we were gavelled out and sent home for the weekend.
Who is it? Is it McHenry making the decision to send you home for the weekend as the pro tem speaker?
Well, ultimately, he has the gavel, but it would be the multiple people that are quote unquote in leadership, if you will. And so, but look, the American people are watching. And here's the thing: a candidate forum. So if you have members that have to go home, so like we have one member who has their mother's in hospice, they needed to go home for the weekend. You're going to have those special circumstances. I understand that. But a candidate forum that we could begin tomorrow morning, for that matter, we could start it tonight. It's not binding, but it gives someone like a Mark Green from Tennessee, if he wanted to run for speaker, it gives him an opportunity to speak to conference, to make his case. He then can make calls over the weekend. Someone like a Byron Donalds or someone like Jody Arrington, they can begin the process of running, so that on Monday we can then cast our first votes. But instead, we've kicked it all the way. So there won't be any votes for speaker until at least Tuesday morning, if not Tuesday afternoon. Meanwhile, there's a war going on in Israel. We're under a continuing resolution. Whether you like regardless of whether you're at on the Ukraine war, there's a conflict in Ukraine. You've got China on the move. I mean, there is so much going on. And this idea that there's no sense of urgency in this town because, quite frankly, they're afraid that they're going to end up with a conservative.
I hear the frustration in your voice. Why do I feel like this leads right back to Kevin McCarthy? I mean, I don't think that's the case. I do think that the interest, and I'm not disparaging Kevin. Kevin's always been good to me, even though I was one of the 20. So a lot of respect there. Policy-wise, we have a lot of differences, so that is what it is. But those people that are vested in his orbit remaining in power, they're looking for who can keep that hold of the reins, if you will. Is it Scalise? Is it Tom Emmer? Who else could it be? Right.
And so they need time to circle their wagons to prevent us from putting forth another conservative candidate.
It's shameful. I hear the frustration in your voice. Thank you for the update. Thank you for giving us the information that we need to hear from these backroom deals. And we appreciate you, Congressman Ogles, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Thanks for the update.
Thank you. God bless.
All right. There's Andy. I don't know what to tell you. You know what? They feed us crap sandwiches, but we're not having it. We're going to have a peanut butter and butter sandwich. That's next. Super Talk 99.7 WT.
.201, I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Partly sunny, 73 degrees in Music City. A clear and sunny weekend ahead. Highs in the 70s, lows in the 40s. Complete forecast just about 2 minutes away. And some breaking news out of the Middle East concerning American hostages taken by Hamas. Michelle Franzen.
2 American hostages being held by Hamas terrorists in Gaza have been released. Israeli Defense Forces confirming to ABC News the 2 women hostages released are currently with the Red Cross. They've been identified by the IDF as 59-year-old Judith Renan and 17-year-old Natalie Renan. Hamas released a statement saying in part the American mother and daughter were released for humanitarian reasons. Hamas terrorists holding nearly 200 hostages in Gaza taken during the Hamas attacks that killed at least 1,400 in Israel. More than 3,700 in Gaza have died after Israel launched airstrikes. Humanitarian aid still stalled outside the Egypt-Gaza border. In Cairo, Cindy McCain, executive director of the UN World Food Program, urging world leaders to act.
You're letting people starve. We need to get our trucks in. We need to get food and supplies in, medical supplies.
That aid expected to start flowing this weekend. Again, 2 American hostages being held by Hamas terrorists in Gaza have been released.
And the new funding request from the White House in this war includes $61.4 billion for Ukraine, $14.3 billion for Israel, $9.15 billion for humanitarian aid, which would be split between Gaza, Ukraine, and Israel. And right now in the nation's capital, Jim Jordan is now out of the running for Speaker of the House, stripped of the Republican nomination for the post by a secret vote of his colleagues following a third failed ballot on the House floor. Stephen Portnoy.
It's back to square one for House Republicans, and former Speaker Kevin McCarthy blames it all on those who moved for his ouster earlier this month.
The Crazy Eights, led by Gates, the amount of damage they have done to this party and to this country is insurmountable.
McCarthy didn't answer when asked if he might be interested in running, but the next candidate forum is now set for Monday, which will push the GOP's leadership crisis into a fourth week.
And Jordan says, quote, "We need to come together and figure out who our speaker's going to be. I'm going to work as hard as I can to help that individual so that we can help the American people," end quote. And Tennessee Representative Andy Ogles just joined WTN's The Matt Murphy Show and said that they're taking a break now for the weekend because they were overruled. And now that postpones the next vote, not till Monday, but most likely Tuesday afternoon. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
It's either eat sandwiches and have Friday Mac attack, or I go off in the same fashion that I went off yesterday in the 12 o'clock hour. And nobody wants that.
No.
Nobody wants that on a Friday.
It's a Friday.
So we have to do it this way. It's episode 439 of the Matt Murphy Show, our portion of the broadcast day. We've got another hour to go before we hand off to Brian Wilson in the drive. It's Friday. It's October 20. Thank you for being here. The news, you just heard Mac Morey deliver the news, and now we've got him in studio, but the news is not good. It's not good. It's just, let me give you some good news. 2 hostages were released.
Yep.
Hamas released 2 hostages from Gaza. That's good news. That's good news. And hopefully more hostages to come. So a mother and her daughter saying that they're doing so for humanitarian reasons. I'm not going to be lectured about humanitarian causes by a group of individuals that just slaughtered 1,400 people. So whatever. But that is a spot. Thank you, Belle, of good news. So there's that going on. Bad news? Well, there's plenty of that happening. Washington, D.C., they, I guess, have to start over. Can we all give a hearty?
Yeah, I was like, come on, man.
I think my live is just.
It's actually really accurate.
It's
yeah, he's got
exactly
it down.
right.
Well,
yeah.
considering that is actually him.
That is him.
So yes, I could go off on these morons in D.C. who couldn't find their butts with a compass and a flashlight. So there's that. Somehow between this morning, and I understand Jim Jordan was losing votes, and I understand what that means in terms of getting to a conclusion, but he got like 190 votes this morning, and then suddenly when you get behind closed doors, these same people that just voted for him didn't vote for him. They voted to remove him from consideration, and so now we have to start over. And instead of, like Andy Ogles mentioned, instead of saying, okay, let's get to work, let's start over, let's begin the nomination process, they were like, well, we've worked really hard this week, guys. We've had 3 votes on speaker, and it's been a long week, and we just need to fly home on the taxpayer dime, and blah, 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 blah. No, don't get me started!
What? Dude, they put in almost 8 hours this week. Chill out.
Seriously. Well, now
Dan Mandis worked more on the radio this week than Congress has worked this year.
This year, literally.
And now Oklahoma Representative Kevin Hern has announced that he'll be.
Oh, isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's heard of him? I have vaguely heard of this dude.
Well, and the thing is,
whatever.
He said he gave his support for Jordan and Scalise, which may be true on the floor, but we don't get to know what his support was in that closed-door meeting. He could have been one of the ones.
How about a back room?
I think
vote?
The fact that they went backwards so significantly on this last vote is what caused everybody to go.
Everyone say, all right, I'm out.
The 3 votes?
Yeah. No, it was 190 this time, and last time it was 199, wasn't it?
Well, no, that 190 figure is just, that's me spitballing. It could be different.
Oh.
That was me guessing. It was just a math guess. They went from, what?
200.
20 no votes.
Yeah.
22 no votes to 25 no votes. So it was going in the wrong direction. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I just, for the love, go figure it out. They don't even pick Pope this way.
Dude, just give them 3 days, and they'll come back for another couple hours worth of work.
Guaranteeing, I'm telling you, all this guarantees an omnibus spending package.
Yep.
Guarantees that Joe Biden will get that $105 billion that he wanted. He's going to get it.
Yep.
Because there's zero leadership to stop him. So, guarantee all that. But it is Friday, and on Fridays we try to lighten the load, especially in the last hour of the show. And I'm not the guy to do that. Typically, I'm the curmudgeon. I'm the grump sitting in the corner of the room with my little cocktail in my hand.
I'm a murderer that eats babies.
Right. And so we beg of Mac Morey to take off his news hat for just a few moments and give us a little Friday Mac Attack.
Oh, yeah.
A whole segment of Cougar Chow. It's the Friday Mac Attack on the Mac Murphy Show.
Come on. That's right. We crank it up now. For those who have not made themselves available to the Friday Mac Attack with any regularity, we have kind of structured it in a way that I feel really good about.
Thank you.
Because we have you developed, tell everybody what you developed. You developed a weekly draft.
So right? I thought, we'll just pick, it's endless. We could draft, types of T-shirts, your favorite Disney movie, maybe not Disney, but you know what I'm saying. Whatever it is, you could draft anything, your favorite soda, whatever it is. So then we got to the conversation.
1,800.
And we may keep the world records. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But either way, so we're going to draft something new. We're going to do 3 different rounds and kind of, see who builds the best team of whatever we're drafting.
So the big question that we have to decide right off, because we're drafting sandwiches today, right?
We're going to draft sandwiches because I forgot how we got to the... Oh, yeah. You explain how we got here. Yeah.
Congressman Tim Burchett had posted a couple of photos of himself eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and he was joking around, boy, the lobbyists are treating me well, ha, ha, ha. And I made mention that I didn't really care for peanut butter and jelly. It's the jelly. I like peanut butter. We did peanut butter and butter, to which you said you'd never had.
Never had it. Sounds good.
Belle, have you had peanut butter and butter?
No.
Well, you're about to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have 3 separate sandwiches. Let's just go ahead and show them. So 3 separate sandwiches. Here's sandwich selection number 1. That is, my wife made these sandwiches for us.
So sweet.
PB and B and SJ. which is
Strawberry jam?
Strawberry jam.
Oh,
jelly.
great.
Yeah. So this is peanut butter and jelly, which is how
peanut butter and
Erica's grandmother used to make it. Then we have peanut butter and butter. Yum. There it is. Peanut butter and butter.
Lovely.
Give me a little back. And then the one that no one really is sure of, the peanut butter and mayonnaise. So I say we've got to divvy some of these up for Bell, and you have to take them into Bell.
And the peanut butter and mayonnaise, that's completely thanks to the super texters. So thank you guys. Now we have to try that.
Because everyone said, oh, you got to try peanut butter. Oh, so what do you
And
got
again,
with
I
it?
reiterate, those people are not super texters. They are criminals.
Well, one way or the other, what I'm going to do, Bell, I've washed my hands at some point this week. So I'm going to
Oh, you're one up on me.
I'm going to divvy portions of this for you. And you can have more if you want more. Oh, that smells good. This is brand new white bread. Okay, there's that, and then there's...
I mean, and it's kind of easy to tell which one's which here, so... Oh, and we've also come up with a new way to... PB Mayo, we've decided a new way to get the order as well.
So we tried to figure out a way, because we're doing these drafts, and you can choose your own selections at home on the Super Text line.
Please.
You're invited to throw in your thoughts on our draft. So somebody's got to go first, second, and third. And we were doing world records on that, but I thought we'd do even odds or odds evens to figure that out. And the way that works is the three of us, you put behind one hand, you put either two fingers or one finger. One finger, not the middle finger, Bell. Saw that. Damn it. So you either put two fingers or one finger, and the three of us do our fingers, and we show. You guys have played odds evens, right? You know, you show.
Yeah.
And then the guy that is the lone man out, because two people will have even or odd, and one person will have the other. And if we all three do the same thing, then you go again.
You go again.
And then the two people, when you're down to two people, just one person does it, and you have to guess whether I'm doing odds or even.
Oh, and if I guess right, I'd get the... Okay, gotcha.
Got it?
Okay, great.
All right, so let's figure out the order of the draft first. And then I'm going to divvy up sandwiches, and we're going to do sandwiches while we do the draft.
I think that's the way to do it.
I think that's the way to go. Okay, so everybody ready?
Yep.
All right. 1, 2, 3, show. Dang it. Yeah! Dang it. I'm not giving up Cinnamon Toast Crunch this week. Tell you that.
You don't have Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I'm not giving it up this
It's a weird sandwich pick, but yeah. Okay, Bell.
that would be a sandwich. Okay, so you guys do the same thing, and Bell, you put your fingers behind your and you just guess whether he's doing odds or well, no, you gotta
No, I'll be honest.
You'll be honest. Okay, he'll be honest.
Evens.
Yeah, it was evens.
Yes! Way to go, Bell.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you.
He had a second where he was like, I could just lie.
Yeah, because he's on a camera. What does he care? All right, so I go first, Bell goes second, Mac is third. Wait, no, you go second?
I go second,
Oh,
right?
you go
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm
That's
third.
right. Yeah, Bell goes third. Okay, before we do that, take
I'll
this
give
into
those to
Bell.
Bell.
Take those into Bell. And I'm going to figure out what my sandwich selection should be. So the draft today on the Matt Murphy Show on the Friday Mac Attack is sandwiches. Here are the established rules as discussed by the three participants. There is no objection to these rules by the Peanut Gallery, okay? The established rules by Bell, Matt Murphy, and Mac Morey, as we discussed this behind the scenes, a sandwich constitutes of something that is on bread or a roll.
Leavened bread.
Right. So a piece of pita bread doesn't count.
Right.
A tortilla does not count. So we're not doing flatbreads. We're not doing any of that.
No hot dogs.
And a hot dog is not a sandwich.
I mean, come on.
Are we all in? I was kidding around yesterday, but are we all in agreement that a hot dog is not a sandwich?
No way it's a sandwich.
No.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, it's a hot dog. Because then a sausage dog is a sandwich.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
No. Then that's ridiculous.
No, it's a bit absurd. All right, so should I go first? Oh, I don't know what I want to do here. I see. Here's what I'm going to do. I am pretty convinced that I can hold a pick until the second round.
Ooh.
I'm pretty convinced.
He's got a sleeper. He's been scouting him. No one else has been watching the tape.
Nobody sees this guy. Nobody knows what this guy can do. And so I'm pretty convinced.
From a community college.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I lose this to one of you two in the first round, I'm going to be so upset. But I think I can hold on to him. And so for the number one selection in the 2023 Friday Mac Attack Sandwich Draft, Matt Murphy is going. I'm going club.
Ooh, wow.
I'm going club.
Wow.
I'm going club sandwich. With ham and turkey and cheese and deliciousness.
Yeah.
It's stacked and
bacon,
just wild.
tomato, bang, mayonnaise.
It's all over. You got some honey mustard on there because that's the way I roll.
I like that.
Some peanut butter.
I am going club sandwich for my number one pick.
It's a great pick.
We get through the first round, and then we're going to try our first bite of sandwich that we currently have.
Okay, good.
Okay. McMurray. The second selection.
See, club was high on my draft list.
And I held off for another pick, so I'm really hoping she sneaks by. So
I'm going to go, this is a classic, I'm going to go Italian sandwich. Italian,
like Italian sub.
Italian sub.
Oh,
Italian
that's
sub.
a great
yeah,
pick.
that's a good one. That's a classic. Can't beat it.
That's a great pick.
Yeah,
That's a
I feel like
great
it's good.
pick.
That's
a
good.
great pick. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Club was
Bell?
tough to beat, but
Bell, where are you going?
I can't believe both of you gave this up. Grilled cheese.
Nice. It's a classic.
It is a class. See, I would have gone, and I don't think I can pick it anymore because I had written down grilled ham and cheese. You take grilled cheese up a notch if you put some ham in there. I'm just saying. Just it's
Interesting.
exactly
That or
like
you-
a grilled cheese.
That
but
or
with
you
ham.
ruin perfection.
Well, maybe so. Grilled cheese, it's a classic. You can do a lot of things with it. It doesn't cost you a lot of money. I don't dislike the pick. I don't dislike the pick.
I don't dislike the pick at all.
All right, now pick up your little sandwich there so I can get a bite of mine.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to try the peanut butter, and jelly first. This is Erica's classic.
This will be a good little introduction to what peanut butter and butter
what we're trying to
offers.
do here. So let's go ahead and eat on the radio, which I hate. Erica was disappointed in herself that she did not get us little cartons of milk. But I don't care for milk. This is good.
Fantastic.
This is great.
This is fantastic.
The butter.
I don't like the jelly.
Like at
Really?
all or just the style of jelly?
At all. It's too sweet. And I think when we get to the peanut butter and butter, I'm going to be pretty happy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all in on sweet jelly.
Okay.
Can't
so
get too sweet
You can
for
have
me.
that, and then that's your piece.
Okay, heck yeah.
Because
Thank you.
I've stated that I'm not necessarily a jelly fan. All right, round number 2.
Yeah, what do you got?
I held on to this one,
I know. Now
but I'm a little nervous that it will not snake through. Now, this is not for everyone. Not every team can have a quarterback fit into their system like this QB for Team Sandwich. For my second selection in the 2023 Friday Mac Attack Sandwich Draft, Matt Murphy is picking the Reuben. There you go.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
I mean,
Love a Reuben. I love it. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
not my cup of tea,
Or
but
mine.
I understand its value. Gonna sell tickets. Gonna be a good defender.
Going to move bread.
Look. I'm not pretending. I'm not pretending that the Reuben's not hot or cold. I mean, what I'm saying is, if the Reuben is a winner for you, you're destroying the opposition. You're just destroying it. Some days Reuben doesn't show, so I get it. Pick number 2 for you, man.
I didn't know if I was gonna get this in round 2. I'm just thrilled. I got my 2 guys. I've got my staple guys, and
You thought this sandwich would be off the board.
I thought this sandwich would be gone. People know this sandwich. People love this sandwich. Philadelphia cheese. Give me that. Yeah, Philly. Come on. Steak and cheese, baby.
I like
You're
it.
really
See?
going Philly? I thought you were, all about the KC.
Oh, this isn't a barbecue draft.
Wait. Yeah. Well.
You guys are both overthinking this stuff, really.
I guess I could get a.
Okay. So
think
look.
about that.
All I know is on my bench I got a club and I got a Reuben right
Yeah,
now.
you do. And it's-
And you got some stinky old grilled cheese crap, processed cheese over there. What do you got, Bell?
BLT.
Dang. He's got an American team, man. This is red, white, and blue. This is red, white, and blue.
It's true. It's true. I'm dealing with the sauerkraut over here.
Exactly.
And Kay's going. Now, I would like to make an argument that with the club sandwich, I can just throw the ham and the turkey off the sandwich, and I'm left with a BLT. But whatever.
Isn't the club stacked, though? Too,
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
that part
Yeah.
of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
And
All right.
extra mayo on the BLT.
It's a great pick.
All right. So,
Nice job.
All right. So
Okay,
let's
some new bites.
in the midst. I'll tell you what we do. Take a break. We're going to try the peanut butter and butter. We're going to take first bites. We'll go to break, and then we're going to give assessment after the break. You got yours over there?
Yep.
And are you ready?
Hold on.
And then we'll take a break.
Wait a minute. I'm not sure.
Peanut butter and butter.
Okay, I think
You'll know if it's a mayonnaise. All right, we're going to take some bites. We're going to take a quick timeout. Yes, I have nothing to do with this break, so I don't have to worry about a mouthful of peanut butter. And we'll be back with our final selections in the Friday Mac Attack 2023 Sandwich Draft right after this. Solid. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Defend Systems. It's a dangerous world out there. Now, the odds of you experiencing violence in your workplace are very, very low. And I want you to know that as you consider calling Defend Systems. Because if you're a decision maker in a workplace, a decision maker in a school, or in a church setting, really anywhere people gather, Defend Systems wants to hear from you. They are a life safety and security consultation firm based right here in Middle Tennessee. Have I mentioned, by the way, when you go to defendsystems.com, if you are a school teacher, they have an open enrollment period for a session that they'll be conducting very soon that helps you understand what to do in the case of an emergency in your classroom. Active shooter response training, workplace violence prevention, site surveys and threat assessments. They do it all at Defend Systems. Defendsystems.com for more information. defendsystems.com. You know, while it is a minuscule chance that you will see violence in your workplace, that chance is not zero. And we see it every day all over America and all over the world. Hope is not a plan. It is time to get trained with Defend Systems. 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or defendsystems.com. All right, 228. we are we're running a little bit tardy, but we'll get back on track here. The draft is ongoing. We are aware that there is no Speaker of the House. We're aware of what's going on in the world. I'm going to catch you up before we talk with Brian Wilson and hand off to the drive this Friday afternoon. But on these Fridays during Friday Mac Attack, we try to get away from the world of politics for just a moment or two, away from the seriousness, and have a little fun. We're doing so with our 2023 draft, and today's draft subject, sandwiches. So far, Matt Murphy, I've got the club as my number one selection. I now feel like, based on the opinion of the other coaches, general managers in the room, that I could have held off on Ruben till the third round. I feel that way, but I was a little nervous. I needed him in my camp. I got him off the board second round.
You're bored. If you're confident in those prospects, you gotta reach.
I feel good about it.
Yeah.
You went Italian sub and Philly cheesesteak?
Yeah.
My goodness gracious. Those
Feels
are two good selections. And Bell K, the classic all-American grilled cheese and BLT.
Yep.
It's looking good.
All right, so round number 3. Here's what I want to do.
I'm glad we had food for this one because this whole subject is making me
I was
hungry.
really hungry. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go third round, and then we're going to do this. Okay. Third. I went ahead and I ate the other peanut butter and butter. Was that not good, everybody?
That was great. I love
peanut butter and butter.
That was excellent.
Yeah, I never had that. That's
Needed
great.
You never had it?
Needed more butter.
Yeah, well, tip top. See, and it's less sweet. See, I'm like you, Bell. No offense to those that love PB&J. I don't like the sweet. And it's something that about it. So,
all about it.
All right, round number 3. There's so many different places to go for round number 3. But I'm going to go with my heart. Oh, gosh. I'm going to go with my heart.
Okay.
I'm going to go with nostalgia.
Ooh.
And some are saying, what are you doing? What are you doing, Murphy? What are you picking the old quarterback to come and lead the team?
Oh.
You can't go home again. What are you doing? But I'm telling you, my heart compels me because of my grandma and my grandpa and the memories that were created with this sandwich. I'm going bologna.
Wow.
I'm going bologna sandwich with some mustard and mayonnaise.
And
mustard on one
meat.
side, mayonnaise on the other. A big, thick slice of Gurney bologna.
No.
Oh, my goodness, on white bread. It's where I'm going. I love it. It's got memories for me. I don't care what you people think. I win with it. I'm going bologna.
He didn't need the first pick in this draft. I mean,
He really did.
You can add all those.
You can have those. That's fine.
We could have picked all of ours, and your trash would still be there.
I have 2 heavy hitters, Italian, Philly cheese. These are great sandwiches, but these aren't ones that you can, go have a day after a Philly cheesesteak, right? You're not going to go run a marathon. You're not going to go out and hang out with the kids and play street hockey, whatever it may be. I am going with something a little lighter.
Okay.
But it's still a classic. Chicken salad sandwich.
Chicken salad. I like that. See, I thought you might be heading down tuna fish, but I like
the direction I head. I thought about that too.
I thought you were going
We're
tuna.
on the same wavelength. Chicken salad.
Bell,
Ready?
yep.
Ribeye steak sandwich. And I'm not talking the shaved stuff. I'm not talking the thin. I'm talking a big old fat piece of meat with mayonnaise and tomatoes,
like a porterhouse steak
on white bread.
On 2 pieces of white bread. Reminds me
awesome.
of what was the line? Chevy Chase line from I'll have a steak sandwich and a steak sandwich, please. Steak sandwich.
What?
I think that's.
Can I borrow your towel? My car just hit a water buffalo.
Yeah,
3928 says bologna sandwiches are the best. So
okay, maybe I'm missing out. I got something else that I haven't
bologna
had.
and cheese. Oh yeah, you can have cheese.
Matt's a huge fan of the processed meats.
Yeah, this is what I'm. Yeah.
Well, we were poor when I was a kid. That's all I know. All right. All right. So here we got news coming up. How are you going to do the news?
You're going to give me 20 seconds to run in.
Okay. All right. So
skip it.
We got to do this real quick. This is a listener. Multiple listeners told us to do this.
Once again, you're saying criminals wrong.
And we're going to try this. This is the peanut butter and mayonnaise, and there's at least 2 of us on camera. But I'll give you a report as how to belt. All right, let's go. It's not good. It's not. It's not good.
Right in the garbage.
I hate every
that
moment
is
of this.
vile.
This is not good. I'm going to give it one. These other 2 have already thrown theirs away. I'm going to give it one more bite.
Oh, that was disgusting.
I hate it.
Is this some sort of internet joke?
Apparently.
Worse than the potted meat. Way worse than the potted meat.
This is gross. It's gross.
I had hope in you people. Bella's right.
You're criminals.
I mean, my first thought when the tastes hit my mouth, my first thought was, oh, this is some sort of internet joke that none of us knew about.
Yeah, we all did.
And all of the listeners that suggested we do it are laughing at us.
The peanut butter and butter was actually good. I would eat that again.
That was great.
That will never touch my lips ever in the future.
Yeah, get that out of there.
Yeah. I mean, there's no... Anybody want some? Because we're not eating it. Gross. That's gross. I don't understand those of you who suggested that except to say that you're probably just pulling one over on us.
You're criminals. You're absolutely criminals.
You're not. It was not a funny joke. This is a very serious radio show. And now the players of the show have to deal with that for the next.
It's not like we're
minutes.
drafting cereals here, people. Come on. That was last week.
Yes, you are right. 3928 said peanut butter and mayo is blasphemous to the peanut butter. It is. It's like the peanut butter went down a bad road, took a lot of drugs, like prostituted himself out and started hanging out with the wrong crowd. And that wrong crowd was mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Made the mayo bad, too.
You had a classic combo. You have classic combos here. I mean, it's like if you got Oreos and milk and you're like, you know what? Oreos and Coke, it's real good.
No. You should see all these people now. All these people now are, wait, it's got to be Duke's mayonnaise. Or, it's got to be Miracle Whip. What, now?
Now there's caveats.
Whatever.
Oh, you people.
Whatever. You take your trashy peanut butter and mayo and stick it where the sun don't shine. Here comes the news on Super Talk.
$2:35. I'm Mac Morey with your top stories right now. 71 degrees, a mostly sunny day on Music Row. Expecting a lot of the same this weekend. It's going to be beautiful for that Vols-Bama rivalry game. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Tennessee Representative Andy Ogles joined WTN's The Matt Murphy Show to explain exactly how Jim Jordan got voted out amongst his colleagues today in a closed-door meeting after a third ballot failed on the floor to elect him as Speaker of the House.
The Speaker pro tem goes up and says, look, we're going to recess and we're going to come back Monday night and we're going to start the candidate forums. Virtually the entire room yelled no. And he said, nope, we're going to go home. We need to take a break. Slow is fast was the phrase, which is just nonsense. And then the question was called. Let's put it to a vote as to whether or not we stay or go. And virtually the entire room called the question, and we were overruled. And because of Robert's Rules of Order, the House rules, essentially, we were gavelled out and sent home for the weekend.
And because they were sent home for the weekend, that means now they're going to have to find new candidates and fill out those forms to then vote. And not on Monday. That will now happen on Tuesday afternoon. Crime in Tennessee. A Cookeville man, 30-year-old Antonio Peebles, was arrested after allegedly robbing two banks. He robbed the two banks in Brentwood by placing a bag on the counter and demanding the money. Peebles has a chance to spend up to 20 years for each count. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, A Dangerous World. We talk about that quite often. Let's not allow your valuables or your loved ones to be put in danger for a lack of being able to keep them safe. Now, what you do regarding the Second Amendment is your business, but I know what you need to do if you believe in the Second Amendment, and that is get to Nashville Safe House and get you a good gun safe from Mark and his team. They have all of the selection that you can shake a stick at Nashville Safe House, to include Browning, Fort Knox, Champion, Superior. They've got any number of safes that you can imagine. They have over 200 on their showroom floor. I believe that number is correct, plus another 400 or so in their warehouse. If you're a business owner in the area and you need Nashville Safe House to get you a commercial safe, they have one for you in stock right now. Plus, if you are constructing and you're thinking of putting a vault either in your residence or in your place of business, they've got vault doors as well. Nashville Safe House is the one-stop shop for all things safes in this community, in this region, and in the United States. They're the number one Browning dealer in the world, and I want you to go and see them on 4th Avenue South. See Mark and his team at Nashville Safe House. Protect yourself and protect those things that keep your family safe. At Nashville Safe House, NashvilleSafeHouse.com or 4th Avenue South across from City Cemetery. It's Nashville Safe House. As you own your home, finding someone you trust when it comes to large home repairs can be difficult. You know this, probably through experience, but it doesn't have to be so with your heating and your cooling of your home because you have Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. Jeff Eddy and his crew do what's right. They are trustworthy. I believe in them. It is why I believe that you should choose Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling when it comes to your heater in your home. Have you called Jeff for a maintenance? If you've not done so, still plenty of time. Obviously, it's just October, and the cold winter months are still weeks and weeks away. If you need a second opinion on something that you've been told from another company, call Efficient. Give yourself peace of mind. The best way to head off costly repairs, as I mentioned, maintenance. Maintenance that heating unit before the cold winter months get here. And oh, by the way, you'll never pay over $125, and a lot of times you'll pay less than that. But no matter how many units you have at your residence, a residential call on maintenance, never more than $125. They offer free financing. Ask them about that. They're a diamond contractor with Mitsubishi Electric and an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. It's Efficient Heating and Cooling. Go to efficienthvac.net, efficienthvac.net, or 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for Efficient. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, winding down our portion of the day and our week. We'll hand it off to the drive coming up in moments. The news is not good. There's a little good news regarding the release of two hostages. Hamas has released a mother and a daughter. That news coming out earlier today. via a variety of different sources, and Israel says that those two individuals will be in good hands, if not already, very soon. So you have that going on. Not so good a news cycle out of Washington, D.C., as these guys and gals, can't seem to find a speaker with a flashlight and a compass, and it's getting ridiculous. So if you're just joining us and have not heard the news, there was a third vote today. There was anticipation that perhaps, and this is frustrating me to no end, there was an anticipation that for the next couple of months until January, we would just punt on the rest of the year and have Patrick McHenry serve as pro tem speaker, whatever that means, which is really uncharted territory. Typically, that is only done if there is an incapacitation on the part of the speaker, not that there isn't one. Well, that didn't work, and enough conservatives in the Republican caucus decided that they weren't good with that. And so we had a third round of voting this morning. Jim Jordan lost even more votes that he did not have to lose after the first two rounds of voting. Every Republican voted for Jim Jordan, save 20 in round number 1. Round number 2, he lost 2 more votes. So every Republican voted in favor of him except for 22. Well, I guess, that's right. Because every Democrat's voting for Hakeem Jeffries. In this latest round earlier today, that number had grown to 25. So he's going in the wrong direction. You want that number to shrink, not grow. I understand that frustration. But out of the, whatever that number would be, 220 minus 25, so 195 or whatever it was, when they get behind closed doors, when the caucus meets, the Republican conference meets, and they had a secret ballot on whether or not to keep Jim Jordan on the ballot as the Republican nominee, and they voted him off the ballot. Unbelievable. So, wait a minute. You're telling me in public you just voted for Jim Jordan, but when you got in private, you voted against Jim Jordan. What sense does that make? Well, what they do in public and what they do in private, oftentimes two different things. And so, now many are wondering, where does this leave us? Well, they're going home. There's no sense of urgency. There are precious few conservatives in Washington, D.C. that have any sense of urgency about any of this. I promise you that they have already decided that they're going to pass an omnibus spending package and that this gives them the ability to do it. Because they throw their hands up. You know, like that meme where they go, what? What do you want us to do? You know, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you can see me. You know the meme I'm talking about where the guy's shrugging his shoulder. What? I don't know. What do you want us to do? Every single Republican should be ashamed. Congressman Andy Ogles said as much, that he is ashamed. That it's swampy and it's disgusting. Now I'm hearing that Matt Gaetz is considering throwing his hat in the ring for speaker. Let me tell you something. I don't mean to put too fine a point on it. Matt Gaetz does not have a snowball's chance in hell of becoming the next Speaker of the House. If Jim Jordan can't become the Speaker of the House, what are you talking about, Gaetz? Now, this might just be rumor, but Andy Ogles put this out on social media. Breaking, hearing Matt Gaetz may run for Speaker. Well, that's just an exercise in futility. There are a lot of conservatives that I would like to see as Speaker of the House of Representatives. I don't know of a better one than Jim Jordan. Yet there aren't enough conservatives that call themselves Republicans. That's the point. So, to say the least, to say it's frustrating is understating the case. It's obviously frustrating. It's sad that this is the way our government operates or doesn't operate. And I would encourage each of you to call your representative and tell them how disgusted you are with all of them. I don't care if their name's Andy Ogles. I don't care if their name's Mark Green. I don't care if their name's Desjardins. They'll tell you, hey, we did what we could. What about some Republicans deciding to make a stand and stay in D.C. and make a spectacle of themselves? Could they not just stay on the floor? Would that be impermissible? Couldn't they stay in D.C.? What would happen? And I'm just spitballing here. I don't know. And I'm going to ask Brian in a moment. Because Brian understands this, right? He's been up there. He's watched the sausage grind. I've watched it from afar for a long, long time, so I get it. What would prevent members of the House of Representatives, Republicans, from staying in Washington, D.C. and going to the floor of the House every day? Like, go for a couple of hours on Saturday. Hell, bring a television. Watch some football. Just sit there. What about a contingency of 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 Republicans sitting in the halls of the United States Capitol, sitting on the floor of the House of Representatives, waiting for their colleagues to come back to do their jobs? It's time to turn this spectacle into the dog and pony show that it is. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And not just for the Republican Party, but for the United States of America at large. It is 2:49. We'll talk to the aforementioned Mr. Wilson coming up in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's been a heck of a week. It has been a heck of a couple of weeks. We're going to wind our portion of the broadcast day down in mere moments and hand off to the drive with Brian Wilson, who joins us right now to talk about what is happening on the drive this afternoon. Before we get into the latest on the speaker's race, Brian, and I want to ask you your thoughts on that, I have to start here. We try to get away from politics and the news of the day on these Fridays, and we enjoy a little conversation with Mac Morey. And we had a sandwich draft today. And I'm curious if Brian Wilson was selecting in the sandwich draft, what his number one selection would be.
Hot pastrami.
That's pretty good.
No doubt.
That's
I
pretty
love
good.
hot pastrami. Hot pastrami sandwich is my all-time favorite.
Yeah, Italian did not make the list. I was surprised about it, but I am a big fan. I'm not a big fan of what's going on in D.C., Brian. Give me your I know you'll be talking about this on the drive, but give us your uptake.
I've just gotten this urgent update from Washington, D.C. Republicans are circling the drain. I mean, my goodness. What a mess.
It is. It is a mess.
Yeah, I mean, you start out, you got 200 votes. Well, let's try again, and you get 199 votes. I don't know, 3 times was not the charm. He got 194 votes going the wrong direction, and now Jim Jordan, at the direction of the caucus, has said he will not put his name forward again. So we're back to ground zero. And, I mean, look, McCarthy wasn't good enough, and Scalise wasn't good enough, and Jordan wasn't good enough. Who is out there? Who is this magical person that's going to arise and bring, some cohesiveness to the Republicans in the House? I don't see that person. I can tell you one person I know it is not. It is not Matt Gaetz.
Well, and it's ridiculous on its face that we would hear that he's considering putting his name in the ring. I mean, if Jim Jordan cannot garner enough votes amongst Republicans, Matt Gaetz doesn't have a snowball's chance in Hades.
No, he doesn't. And so, what irritates me is I'm like you. I wish they had just stayed in town. I wish they had, just plowed through. Keep throwing up, something up and voting on it until you get something, something that everybody can agree upon.
Do we have any good news coming up on the drive, though, Brian? Any light of hope?
I mean, a couple of hostages are out, and James Comer has come up with as close as anything I've seen to a smoking gun document that ties the president of the United States to the shady business dealings of his family, and that's big news that is breaking in the last hour or so, and we'll have the latest on that throughout the show.
Well, there you go. There's reason enough right there to listen. Amongst others, it's Brian Wilson in the drive coming up in mere moments right after Mac Morey and the newscast, and that's coming up presently. Have a wonderful weekend, folks. I hope your team wins if your team is playing this weekend. Mine's not.
Go Vols.
Pretty big game going down there in Tuscaloosa. Until Monday, bright and early at high noon. We'll talk to you soon, folks. Have a great weekend. So long.